Welcome to I Drink Your Podcast.
Oh gosh, it's a real pleasure to be here. Thank you.
You leave me no choice. Here comes the smolder.
Wait, you like that?
No.
You don't like that?
No, I don't like that.
No, how about that? You like that?
A little better.
Bread makes you fat?
Does this count as annoying?
Just tell me what you want me to fuck!
Not you, and not you.
Okay, I think it's time to take off your clothes and jump me.
$1 million isn't cool. You know what's cool?
I drink your podcast! I drink it up!
Welcome to I Drink Your Podcast 2010. We have the whole crew for all of you today for a very special episode where we're talking 2010 movies, the best of them. Thank you, Ben. I'm Emily, and as you heard, I have some weird co-hosts here with me. Ben is here, like always.
Hi, everybody.
And I have Wesley.
Oh, I don't like that at all.
That was terrible. Please edit all of that out.
Or just make that the whole episode.
And we have Matt.
What?
I don't think he knows he's here.
What? Me? What's going on?
Before we get too into this confusing madhouse, please like, subscribe, and rate us. Share us with some of your friends. We love that. Wesley, what are you drinking?
I am having an Inception. For the listening audience, it is water with ice in it. Inception.
Water and water?
When you don't drink alcohol, sometimes you're limited, but this one works because it's totally accurate. There's ice in water, and water is made from ice.
And don't forget the water vapor of the air that it's in.
I was going to try to put like a bong in it, or have this in a bong.
Bong!
Bong!
Ben, what are you drinking?
I went with something that gives me fucked up dreams, so I made myself a tequila sunrise.
Oh, wow.
Ooh,
You're going to have great dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Matt, what about you?
I'm drinking a sedative, a powerful sedative.
Okay, Yoda.
That's like one of my favorite parts. Is they're just like, this shit's fucking tits, right? You know.
Emily, what do you got?
I'm drinking some sugar iced tea with Michael Caine sugar, obviously.
Boom!
Hey.
Yeah.
Sugar iced tea, not sweet tea.
Yep, it's got cane sugar in it. Michael Caine.
I'm Michael Caine.
And it's honestly, I was freaking out because I'm like, I don't know what to do. I can't do anything alcoholic right now because I will fall asleep, actually. So it took Ben 3 minutes to think of this for me, which is the same amount of time Michael Caine is actually in the movie. So it works.
Decided that you couldn't drink an alcoholic drink and then reached out to Ben instead of me.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, deeper thinker, Wesley.
Y'all suck.
I don't know
I'm outta
about
here.
that. I don't know about that.
I will leave.
Ben, I'm passing on to you to get the show on a road, hopefully.
Before we get into Inception, I saw something recently. Have either of you ever seen Survivor? No, I'm just kidding.
It sounds good.
I wish somebody would have told me
Never.
about it years ago.
I have never seen Survivor.
No, I saw a movie last week. It's called The Banshees of Inisherin. You guys, you got to see this movie.
The Banshees of what?
Inisherin. It is directed by Martin McDonagh, and it stars Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson. It's the entire team that made In Bruges together, which is one of the first practice episodes we did together.
They're all back together again.
They're all back together for this. It's such a simple story, but they managed to fill 100 minutes of screen time with it. A guy wakes up one day and decides, I don't want to be friends with my best friend anymore.
That's how I wake up every day.
No follow through, Wesley.
But it's just so well done, and it's got that great line that In Bruges had that walks between like drama and black comedy, and it's riveting from start to finish, and I encourage everyone to go see it, including you three. So, like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why aren't you watching this yet?
Maybe I
Because
value
I was
our friendship.
voting today.
I don't have any. I'm going to go with both of them, actually.
Yeah, they're both good answers. Yeah. Well, thank you, you three, for finding time to watch this movie. It was Inception, and it's available on HBO Max and on Tubi. And Inception is currently at 87% on Rotten Tomatoes and was nominated for 8 Oscars, including Best Picture, winning 4 for Best Cinematography, Sound Mixing, Sound Editing, and Visual Effects.
Wow.
It was also nominated for Best Score, Original Screenplay, and Art Direction. It is the 14th highest rated movie in history on IMDb.
Wow.
I just want to back up real quick because Wesley was giving me shit about me saying "bwong" like every 5 seconds, and now I think he has said it at least 10 times this episode.
No. Dear listener.
No.
Don't let the pre-recording conversation get twisted. We've all watched Survivor here. What I said, Emily, just to actually clarify, I didn't say don't do the bwong noise. You had just yelled it really loudly and it scared me and it hurt my ears. So I said, could you not yell?
Oh my goodness, because
bwong?
you didn't do that at the beginning of our recording that Ben edited out, hopefully.
Well, God damn it. Now I got to
Yeah,
edit that out.
this out.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, I'm referencing that thing that's not going to be in there.
We create the world of the dream. We bring the subject into that dream, and they fill it with their secrets.
Then you break in and steal it.
Well, it's not strictly speaking legal. It's called Inception.
This movie is written and directed by Christopher Nolan, who directed Memento, Insomnia, Batman Begins, The Prestige, and The Dark Knight. Any of those personal favorites for you guys?
I love The Prestige.
I love The Dark Knight.
I love Memento.
That's weird. I love Batman Begins.
Oh my God, look at that.
Wow.
No
Ben,
one likes Insomnia.
Ben, have you seen Memento yet?
I have not.
Yeah,
Ooh,
that's
I
one
can't
of
wait
those
for you to see
movies
that
that
one.
I cannot believe Ben has not seen.
Wait, you're being serious? You haven't seen Memento?
Nope.
Right? I swear to God, he's the one who showed me it.
Yeah, you got
I owned it on DVD, but I never saw it.
Yeah, I was going to say, you definitely showed me that movie, I thought, when you owned a wall of movies.
Mm-hmm.
They called that movie gallery.
Yeah, I owned Movie Gallery. That was mine.
While you were in it.
Yeah. Starring in this movie is Leonardo DiCaprio. He was the star of Critters 3, Growing Pains, and 1 episode of Roseanne.
Very good.
Yeah.
Great actor.
He was also in Survivor.
No, that was The Beach.
I hope that he gets an Academy Award someday.
Also starring in this movie is Joseph Gordon-Levitt, star of Angels in the Outfield, Third Rock from the Sun, and 4 episodes of Roseanne.
Nice.
How
okay,
deep
so
did
you all
get?
get the joke, and I'm just sitting here going, what is happening?
Please tell me that there are more people in this movie that are in Roseanne.
Emily,
Unfortunately.
he's giving their worst billings. That's the joke.
I thought it was some sort of Inception pun where they were like in a show.
They have
there's something
actually
in the
good
movie.
movies, and Ben
Well,
is like,
obviously, I know that, dummy.
well, that's the joke.
Last person we'll call out is Elliot Page, star of X-Men The Last Stand, the made-for-TV movie Ghost Cat, and 0 episodes of Roseanne.
Oh, no. There it is. Ken Wadabe. I know he's been in Roseanne.
No, he definitely hasn't.
Oh, damn it.
There's many other frequent collaborators, though, of Christopher Nolan that are in this movie, including Tom Hardy, Marion Cotillard, Ken Watanabe, Michael Caine, and Wesley. Who did I leave out? Your boy.
Oh, I wasn't even listening. But Cillian Murphy?
Yeah, Cillian Murphy.
I thought it was Cillian Murphy. I don't remember.
Be silly.
I think we talked about this last time when we discussed Sunshine, and my response is I don't care.
If you're close,
I say
who
Cillian.
cares, right?
Yeah.
It's more exotic. Shoulder shimmy.
Matt, you finished this movie about 5 minutes before jumping into the recording.
Absolutely.
Give us a summary of this movie in 40 words or less.
Okay, so I watched it on Tubi. So I had 6 intermissions, which was nice because this is a 2.5-hour movie. Okay, it's a dream heist. There it is. Yeah.
Hans Zimmer,
Okay,
I really
Dream
hope
Heist.
you're listening to this.
Good job, Dream Heist.
We got to it.
It's not a money heist. It's a dream heist.
So he's trying to steal dreams?
You know, at the end of the day, they're breaking in.
Because they don't use money to break in and get gold.
Guys, Martin Luther King in Dream Heist.
So he took it from somebody?
He's got it now. That's all that matters. But will he have it at the end?
I think it would be
from?
best if it was
Question.
him defending his dream. Other people were trying to steal his dream.
He had Martin Luther King Jr. projections that have been trained.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said Martin Luther.
I probably did. I'm stumbling over words.
You didn't.
Damn it. What?
Wesley, give us the synopsis of this movie from the back of the DVD cover.
Dom Cobb is the best there is at extraction, stealing valuable secrets inside the subconscious during the mind's vulnerable dream state. His skill has made him a powerful player in the industry of espionage, but has also made him a fugitive and cost him dearly. Now, he may only get a second chance if he can do the Inception, planting an idea rather than stealing one. If they succeed, Cobb and his team could pull off the perfect crime, but no planning or expertise can prepare them for a dangerous enemy who seems to predict their every move. An enemy only Cobb could have seen coming.
It's the longest fucking summary ever.
Yeah, I didn't realize it went on to page 2. That's why I sped up at the end. Well, how was I supposed to read the second? Oh, it's just not a second Inception.
It's not a second Inception, no.
I read it. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Still better than Matt. Fuck you.
I liked how you really made sure we knew which words were all caps.
The one time it happened, I leaned into it.
We'd all seen this movie before, right?
Yes, but I'm pretty sure this is only the second time I have ever seen it.
Okay.
That's what I was going to ask, is how often? Like, how many times?
Is this a movie that you guys rewatch a lot?
I've seen this movie a lot.
No, not for me.
I remember rewatching it a lot when it came out, but I don't think I've seen it now for 4 or 5 years.
I think it's been like 10 years for me.
Wow.
Probably see it 2 to 3 times a year.
Jeez. Why do you keep going back to it?
I don't know. Mental issues, probably.
Okay.
You know, the comfortability of something familiar, but it's still interesting. It's engaging. And, you know, a lot of Nolan movies are too heady. I've seen Tenet. I haven't seen Tenet. I don't know what the hell it was about, but my eyes visually took in Tenet.
Sure.
So it's one of those that, like, you know, after you kind of get it and rewatch it, you catch some things every now and then. But even if you've understood everything that there is to be seen and just a casual viewing, it's still engaging enough to make it seem interesting.
You were all the age when all of the theories came out on the internet. I wasn't really on the internet back in 2010.
Okay.
I just wasn't. I was in high school and not really doing much. But were any of you involved in tracking some of the theories behind Inception? Because apparently it was a big fucking deal for people to post theories all over the internet.
Are you talking specifically with its cliffhanger ending?
Not just cliffhangers. There were all sorts of things about, like, how even now they have videos all over the place that Cobb's wedding ring was actually his totem. And they had things related to how this is actually a metaphor for filmmaking, which I think is kind of true because I think Nolan addressed it. But there were a ton of these theories that just popped up and people were just so fucking focused on finding the true meaning of Inception.
Or the theory that the entire movie is just within the first level of dreams.
Right.
And we never actually see the real world. Yeah.
I was going to say, like, I've heard some of those theories. I haven't gotten super into the Easter eggs and, you know, different theories and stuff like that. But I do remember at the end, the main question was like, wait a second, he dreaming? But I always thought it was interesting how like Nolan handled that. He's like, do you expect me to answer that question? Like, it's not important. What's important is he's like, his kids are his reality now. So I've sort of just been able to accept that without being like, is he awake or not? I think he is awake personally, and that is the true real world. But I know it's definitely open for other interpretations.
I like that Michael Caine is basically the anti-Christopher Nolan too. He's like, if I'm in the scene, it's real. Deal with it, people.
My personal favorite theory is that they're actually all just Tom Hardys who have this ability to morph. So it's all just one person, but you somehow reverse incept yourself back up a level so that they can then all the way down start to add more and more of themselves, like a pyramid.
A pyramid of Tom Hardys. Wow.
Oh, wet dream.
That's an internet first theory right there. Nobody's ever put those words together about Inception before.
Wow. The true stonemason. If you zoom in on a dollar enough, it's actually a bunch of Tom Hardys on top of each other.
It's a Tom Hardy pyramid.
Making the top of the pyramid.
It's actually Tom Hardy's eye.
So if we are rewatching this movie regularly, I assume that we all liked it, right?
Yeah.
We are watching it regularly?
Well, I was going to jump to you after that, Emily, because this is the second time you've seen it.
We of those who watch it a lot, I enjoy this movie.
It's overall good, but I'll tell you, the exposition in the third act, I just sort of like sit back. I'm like, Elliot Page, you tell me where we're going. Like, I know I needed all this information the first time I watched it. Great. Cool. Like, it just like take me to the next scene where I can watch, him talk to his dying father.
Emily, second time through, what do you think?
I was more confused than the first time I watched it. And I want to back up and tell you, and I'm pretty sure I've talked about this on the show, or at least to you guys before. There was a night where I watched Alice in Wonderland, and that was with the Johnny Depp version. And then I watched Dr. Parnassus, The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus. And then I watched Inception. And that weekend was just a mind fuck of confusion for me. Mm-hmm. I watched this movie again on its own without all of the extra stuff. And I am more confused than I think I was then.
Well, let's try to address some of the things you're confused about. Maybe we
right
know
now.
What's going on.
Untangle.
Well, I have a lot of it in my weird. There were just tons of questions, and I kept putting them in my weird because I couldn't stop thinking about them. For example, like, what happened to this first architect that gets dragged off by Ken Watanabe?
The pin.
Wesley can take that one. Wesley, what happened to him?
He got sent back home to his mom's house where he became a coke dealer for high school kids and kills Claire from Lost. And it's pretty... Sorry, I'm doing a brick joke.
Yeah, a joke that's for like 5 people.
And they are fucking loving it. But he basically, Saito is, vetting them for this job, and he knows that they work as a team, but it was that guy's job to create an environment that wouldn't be detectable. So when
he
part
fucked
of the
up
job,
the rug, but what, I get that, but what happened to him?
My understanding is they sent him to someone who he stole from before to be dealt with. That's kind of what I got from what Ken Watanabe says as he's going away. Yeah.
He's out of the story. I mean, like,
I'm sure they kill him.
Does it mean more if he's alive or dead?
It just seemed so random to be like, oh, these are the stakes, and Elliot Page's character doesn't seem to have any stakes in anything.
Elliot was at risk of going down the same path that Mal went down, and at the time, that's what Michael Caine is trying to block her from, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I thought they were trying to block her from becoming like Cobb, where it was like super fixated on the dream world.
Well, I think they're both Cobb and Mal's cautionary tale is the same. You know, don't go too deep.
Well, but I assume the Michael Caine, who plays Leo's dad, I thought he was talking about going down the path of becoming a criminal and using the things you know about the dream world to commit crimes. And I thought that was the part that he wanted to keep Elliot Page's character from.
Okay. That's his dad?
I thought it was Mal's dad, but I don't know.
I thought he was just a professor that they had both studied under.
He's definitely the kid's grandpa, either way.
Okay, yeah, I can 100% agree with that. That's another thing that is 100% weird for me. I mean, we can not talk about that right now, but too bad I'm bringing it up. Where are the kids staying if Professor's in France?
With the nanny and other...
Oh He's obviously I hate rich
super
people.
duper rich.
I'm sure Mal has other family. Who's to say that she didn't have a sister or brother or something that now watches the kids in America?
It's Kirk Cameron. Kirk Cameron is watching the kids for Leonardo DiCaprio.
There, does that help you?
That helps,
Great.
yeah.
Great, it helps. I don't know, just generally, like, there is this sense of urgency on every level of Dream, but I just feel like it's not always
that was just the soundtrack.
United. I just don't feel like it's always united. I don't always feel like the idea that this heist is happening, there's so much that is built up in a way that when it's executed, it doesn't feel like it has the same stakes in terms of it becomes lackluster in a way where suddenly we're changing our minds on things, and that sense of urgency is kind of lost to me. And so there were just a lot of layers to it that I was sitting there going, why does this matter to the plot?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel so shitty because I can't honestly understand what my point is right now, because I think I just need to sit down and watch it like 2 more times.
You don't need to watch a movie.
I want to watch it 2 more times so I fucking get it.
I feel like that in itself is a reason that makes it a good movie. Whether you enjoy it or not, the fact that you want to go back and try to understand it is, I think, just for me, kind of a personal criteria for something that I would call a good movie.
Okay. Fair point. But did I enjoy it? I don't know.
I don't know either, but you want to go back and watch it.
Yeah, I don't think you're going back to watch Last Airbender to better understand it.
Shut up. No, I'm not.
What a twist.
But Matt, you said you liked this movie.
Yeah, I definitely did. The first time I watched it, it was a blast. But this time with Tubi, it was so long. Like, it felt like I was getting put into the first dream. And then I was like, under the first dream, they're like, hey, this is pretty fun, right? But gosh, that hallway scene with Joseph Gordon-Levitt in the fight, like, I just appreciate that for everything it is and what he did. Like, Nolan was so great with practical effects, like them just like putting that hallway in there, and you're like, oh my gosh, that looks so fake, but then you know it's real. You know, it's so great. So I do love this movie, but this particular viewing, I was like, okay, calm down. You know, look, I could be the architect.
I was going to ask what you were drawing, but I'm so glad I didn't.
I can solve that maze in less than a minute, though.
Yeah. It's
Top
called
to
the
bottom.
Vast Deferens.
Wow. I know you could solve that maze in less than a minute, Ben.
Since you brought up the hallway, I did want to bring this up because I've never seen 2001's A Space Odyssey, but I know that this movie has a lot of homages to different sci-fi elements. I didn't really catch that until I started like reading about it and people commenting on things. But generally, do you feel like other movies have kind of done this sort of dream or being within some sort of program? Have they done that a lot? And does this bring a whole new genre, or does it build upon the genre to expand it?
I feel like it's an original enough idea to kind of stand on its own, where I see homages to things, but I think it's just so creative and original in its presentation that it did kind of take a leap forward in science fiction storytelling with Inception.
Okay.
Another movie that this one kind of reminds me of is Schenectady, New York, which, if nobody's seen it, it's a Charlie Kaufman movie. It's about a play within a play within a play where the guy becomes a part of the play. That came out a couple years before this. However, this movie is and was, when I first saw it, unlike anything I've seen before. Nolan's kind of repeated himself with Tenet. Tenet reminds me a lot of this movie after going back and watching this one again. I do think this one's more coherent than Tenet is. But I also think Nolan spends a lot of this movie explaining what's happening on the screen, like to the detriment of the movie overall.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason that his later movies become so difficult to hear what's going on in the dialogue, because he realizes the dialogue doesn't fucking matter. And let me just make them feel things and to give you an experience. That's why if you watch Tenet, it's so hard to understand what anyone is saying because it's so fucking loud in the mixing.
I think that, like Ben was saying, it does differentiate itself within the genre, and especially if you're considering like a sci-fi as part of that, this is, it kind of un-sci-fi's it a little bit. So I think for that, it does kind of stand a little more.
What do you mean by
own.
un-sci-fi's it?
If you're talking about other movies like this, like being inside of a game or The Matrix or something like that, those are physical but like futuristic, like space or technology is the reason that we're in there. This is in your own brain. Like all we're doing is tricking you, because I mean they're physically doing it, but like the idea that you can implant the seed of something deep enough and at the right time.
Yeah. Conception.
I did a Google search on my TV because I'm rich, and I searched for Inception and it heard conception. That's an interesting thing to search for on a on a streaming service.
I completely understand what you're saying, though, Wesley, where the other movies that are kind of like this are, except for Schenectady, New York, are more focused on the science behind how you get inside the things. And this one is much more about the philosophy and the philosophical questions that arise from this type of thing. It's not,
what does it
it's
mean?
not
to
how
be
do we get in?
It's it?
Yeah. Once you're in, what does that mean?
Okay. Yeah. And I can see that. I recently watched Paprika for the first time within like this last year. And so I had a lot of feelings of just either an homage to it, especially the scene where Ariadne breaks the mirror with her hand. That is literally like a scene for scene thing that happens in Paprika, but it's more like the dream is collapsing. And so I think that it's not like they're taking from it, because it is an original idea of dreams within dreams within dreams. But I don't know if it was executed as well as like a movie like Paprika when it comes to, like you said, there's so much exposition and dialogue that's happening versus in Paprika, like you see it. And maybe that's because it's animation. And so it's a little bit easier to show the flexibility of dreams and see the real world versus the fake. So that's kind of what you were saying, Ben, where there's that philosophical nature of what's reality and how are people handling the depth of where they are going. And so like when I'm thinking about an example, like where do these people suddenly get materials in this dream? It feels really inauthentic that they can't just change something in a dream. Or Elliot Page's character is creating all these labyrinths, but they're never in his brain. At least I don't think so. I think it's Yusuf's and Arthur's and Robert's. And so it's like it's never really Ariadne's. Like how does this labyrinth get set up if it's not Ariadne's like brain?
Okay, first of all, Paprika's great. I love its cameo on Deviled Eggs. The fact that Elliot is in charge of structuring and being the architect doesn't mean that it has to be their things that they are constructing. Like they're the ones putting it together, the architects, and the people whose dreams they're in are the subconsciouses that that are the building material for the architect to reconstruct.
Well, I have a question about that because in the first level of the dreams, all of a sudden Tom Hardy pulls out like a bazooka. Who created that bazooka? Was that the architect or was that Tom Hardy?
I have lots of questions about Tom Hardy. Well, how does Tom Hardy look like? How does Tom Hardy look like somebody else?
Because he's an actor.
Counterfeit bazooka.
Okay, so then that was a finger gun bazooka, and he's just real good at acting.
Well, I mean, the other thing is like in the second level, when Joseph Gordon-Levitt is trying to tie up all the people, he pulls out like a 50-foot Ethernet cord from the wall, and it's like, where did that come from?
Or even like they had a bag of weapons and charges in a safe, and it just like appears, and I'm going, like, I understand that you probably have a method, but it is bothering me that you can't just do whatever you want to do what you want within this dream, especially if you're not controlling this dream. And I know they also bring up the fact that if you make a big deal about something, the subconscious will attack you. I'm like, bitch, they're already attacking. Like, do what the fuck you want.
Yeah, I think you'd just be really lucky to not end up in that snow world just wearing like a swimsuit. Could you imagine? You just show up and you're too cold. Like, fucking suck, man.
They're all matching too. Just brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant architecture. Let's get into the good, bad, and weird of this and talk about who or what won this movie for you.
I'll go first.
Let's hear it.
Gravity. Specifically, the lack of.
You mean the effect?
Yeah, Matt already touched on it. That hallway scene, the floating in the air scene, everything that had to do with the trips. What do they call them? The falls?
The kicks?
The kicks. Yeah, so everything to do with the kicks. I that was such a cool thing when that first came out. And I mean, slow motion's not new, nothing like that. But you start to involve confusing perspectives and changing directions that are supernatural but are done practically, so it just confuses your brain to see it all happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just looked fun. I want to crawl down a hallway. So then Billy Elliot, I don't know if you guys saw this, did one of her performances on SNL was very
Billie
similar
Eilish?
mechanics. What did I say?
Billy Elliot, the little British kid that tap dances.
I mean, it makes sense why I got confused. I mean, I didn't pull Elliot out of nowhere. Anyway, but your faces make sense now. So Billie Eilish has a performance on SNL where it's the same camera stays still, but the room is on a mechanism that it rotates around her, and it just looks so fun, just like it does in Obsession, to just walk around everything. I want to be everywhere, but there's still gravity. But I'm on the wall.
Did you say Obsession?
Yeah, that'll be a fun one for you to re-listen to, Wesley.
Oh, this Inception water's got me crazy.
I think to add to that, Wesley, the scene where they're cutting to the van falling and that effect of slow motion where all of the characters are falling too while they're sleeping. You're right. Gravity fucking wins in this movie, even lack thereof.
Is that 2 votes for Gravity?
I mean, I have a secondary winning one, but I kind of want to go on the Wesley train.
Yeah, me too.
Jump on the Wesley train. It's obviously very clear-headed and going in one direction.
I think my favorite part of Obsession was the editing
by Nolan.
I was really impressed by the editing, especially in the third act where it's bouncing around all the different dream levels and it's cutting to the other levels at the right time to keep tension high. I thought that was very effectively done. Also, slowing down the car falling scene, only giving us brief snips of that, and then a little bit longer snips of the second level, and then the longest snips of the ice world. Like, it was well done to still give us that feel of time being quicker in the closer to the reality that you are.
My winner is going to be set design.
Yeah.
Every single piece of this movie could have been overdone. You know, like you're in this futuristic sort of idea and like, you know, they could have easily had like space screens and stuff like that, but they really focused on the look, which I thought was awesome. It opens up in like a really cool place. and with all those lanterns overhead, and then like each location is unique, and it like it's very I'm trying to think of the word, but it's like it leaves you in awe just like visually. So definitely the set design for me.
I think the word is awesome.
Leaves you in awesome, dude.
I agree with you, Matt. I think also utilizing locations that have kind of an old world feel to them. Like you talked about the Asian set decor of the beginning. You've got France, and then you've got like the Marrakesh.
Yep, Mumbai.
Wherever they are there. But it takes this futuristic thing and puts it in a world that feels older, and therefore you can buy in a little easier, I think, instead of having to, suspend disbelief more.
And maybe that's why it doesn't feel as like hard sci-fi.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And one other thing that I enjoy about this that kind of separates it from other sci-fis is that lack of technology. Like so many movies date themselves based off of the cell phones that get used or the so-and-so. Like it's not prominent in this movie enough that I think it'll ever outdate itself, because again, like it's an idea about dreams, not about, what if humans were batteries.
A DeLorean as a time machine? Come on.
Didn't even make it out of the 90s.
I want to call out Cillian Murphy's performance when he is at the end talking to his dad and he sees the little paper windmill, because that was some fucking brilliance. I was stunned. I did not remember choking up watching this the first time. And so I think that, yes, there were tons of parts that I really enjoyed, but because you guys didn't bring him up, I wanted to make him my winner.
So that's a good pick. Only two people in this movie really get emotional scenes. They're Leo and Cillian Murphy. And I thought Cillian Murphy's performance was much better than Leo's in this movie.
Yep, I agree.
Wow. Some real mall erasure there.
What?
No, I get what he's saying. Maul had some emotional scenes. I understand what he was saying. Or was that just Leo's performance because Maul was inside Leo's head?
Shut the fuck up.
Ooh, a performance inside a performance.
Wait, was it Maul's performance or was it Marion's performance?
Oh my god. Okay, anyway, other good things. Obviously, the visual effects, the practical effects, we called them out. I do want to mention the scene where, the really iconic scene where the city is bending.
Yeah.
I think everyone will remember that scene as being such a huge, influential part of Inception.
It's so influential that
Doctor Strange took it.
It's also the podcast logo.
Bwong.
Bwah!
I really like the scene where the cafe explodes around them.
Oh,
I thought that was
reminds
very
me
well
of
done.
that scene in Pirates where the ship is exploding around
only better visual effects, because the Pirates effects look a little wonky.
I do think it's better than Pirates, although I know that they couldn't actually do just fully practical effects. I know they had to add things in digitally, but it still felt a little clunky to me because they added that digital. I think it was still fine, but there was something off about it for me this watch.
Yeah, not the explosion part, but when they bend the ceiling down and you're seeing the reflection, I remember thinking like they follow that scene right up with them like walking up to it, and then they like sort of like when they step on the next like 90-degree plane, you're like, that looked a little weird.
I wonder if some of the feelings you have for the effects in that scene, though, Emily, are because we are watching it now in 4K. And you can definitely pick out when things look a little faker because of the resolution on our TVs now than when it was released in 2010.
You guys got 4Ks?
Fuck yeah, I do.
You got to watch it on Blu-ray, I guess.
I like the score.
You and everyone else.
Yep. I like the score. I like the bwongs.
So my sister is in her room and she hears me watching Inception, and she apparently listens to the Inception soundtrack on a regular basis. And she walks into the living room and goes, in the beginning, she goes, do you know what this song is called? And I'm like, what? It's called The Dream is Collapsing. And the dream is collapsing. And then she laughs and walks away. Okay, Kelly. Thank you.
Has she ever thought of being on a podcast? She's funny.
No.
Has she ever heard this? Because
she listens to our show, yes.
I feel like
Wow.
we'd get along.
Any other favorites or good that people want to call out?
I think Tom Hardy is generally delightful in this.
I agree.
Yep. This is definitely a prequel to Peaky Blinders. You know, a lot of folks on Peaky Blinders.
Time for the bad. I have the worst part. I have the worst bad thing. I know that's a double negative. Don't care. Dom Cobb is the actual worst name for a protagonist.
I'm going to be honest. When I read the synopsis, that's the first time I've ever known that his name was Dom Cobb.
I don't think they ever say it together.
They do. They say Dom. Oh, maybe they don't say
not
it together.
though. Yeah.
Do they say Dom? Because I know they call him Dom when they're good with him, but at the beginning he's Mr. Cobb.
And they call him Cobb randomly too. I think Ariadne calls him Cobb a lot. But Dom Cobb, what a fucking dumb name. It's so bad.
Yeah, but I mean, if they don't ever say it together in the movie, like they never
don't fucking care. It's terrible.
No, she's right.
Wait,
it is a
what
bad
if
name.
Dom is at one level of the memory or of the dream, but Mr. Cobb only exists past level 2?
But if you rearrange the letters in Dom Cobb, it spells dreams.
It doesn't. Fuck off.
Dom Cobb is his father.
This is hard for me to say because I love the guy, but JGL and his monotone delivery in this movie did not work for me at all.
He was doing the physical.
It was definitely a
focused
more
on the
physical part, but
yeah.
I mean, all of his delivery was just so like low voiced and monotone, which is not the JGL that I like. Like, give me the nerdy kid from Third Rock or Brick. He also allows himself to be completely overshadowed by Tom Hardy because of that affectation.
Yeah, I thought it was weird, the scene where he's telling Killian that they are in a dream to try and get him to like disable his own security, but that's when Killian's dream starts to notice JGL, so he decides to try and confuse them by kissing Elliot, and when it doesn't work, he goes, "It's worth a try." Like, yeah, it's creepy and still just boring to hear. Like, I don't know how you manage both of those.
Just by being a white man.
True.
True.
Yeah, I'll jump in here and say my bad was definitely like his delivery of like, it's a paradox with the
and he pushes the guy off the stairs.
Oh yeah.
I could do without that, I guess. And I wish there were more mazes, you know? I wish that they could really make something like mine.
Yeah, we never actually said that it was a picture of a penis, did we?
It's a maze of a penis.
It's going to go up on Instagram.
It is an amazing penis.
I don't know. It might get taken down.
What do you mean? It's a maze.
I didn't realize the JGL was my least favorite part of this movie until you guys started talking about it. Which
is kind of a bummer, man.
It really is.
Another thing that kind of drove me nuts, I know I mentioned it already, but I want to bring it up again because it did drive me nuts, was just the timing of everything. Ben, I know you liked the editing, and I thought it was done very well. But there were times where the conversations in the third level or even the second level that just seemed to be way too short for whatever was happening up above. And I think that's just me getting hung up on the math. As they're saying, yeah, we've got 60 minutes here, and that's like a couple minutes here, and that's like a couple seconds here. And I'm sitting here going, oh my God, this does not seem to line up in a way that I would want it to proportionally.
Sure.
But I don't know how else they would do it in a movie.
Right.
So it's a stupid complaint on my part. But
Emily wanted a 10-year long movie.
The one, though, that really bothered me was just that a lot of our side characters just kind of got lost, you know, especially Ariadne and Arthur and Yusuf. they just didn't have a lot of characterization. And especially Ariadne, I think that she just kind of happened to come up with shit that works within the plot of, oh, I'm going to suggest this thing, which is her job as her character, right? She's the architect. She's supposed to figure shit out. But Cobb just automatically trusts her to figure everything out. And I feel like there is no event that shows that trust. I feel like it's just Ariadne looks up and respects him because he's an old white guy that has been doing this for a while. I don't know. But it really did bother me that there were characters that just seemed to exist for no other purpose than to be a part of the heist. And I think they were like, hey, we need to have Ariadne be like the strong female that is not Mal, the femme fatale.
Yeah, and I think that's a problem of a lot of heist movies, actually, that you get a lot of the characters of the heist movie as they're putting together the team. And then once they've kind of fit into their role, the characterization stops. Mm-hmm. So I think that that's more of a genre issue than this specific movie. But this movie is in that genre, so I think you can call it out. There are some plot points in this movie, though, that require so much explanation that it takes away from the pacing.
Yeah.
Especially the part where they stop in the middle of the action on the first level to explain what limbo is. And that dying that won't pull you out. Like dying in the dream doesn't pull you out. Like that felt like we were going 100 miles an hour and then we completely stopped. And I was like, where the fuck happened? Where are we?
Right. And you're supposed to have emotional stakes with Cobb betraying everybody's trust. But you're just mostly like, wait, you can't wait. So you die in the wait. So hang on now. Like you go deeper and that's the way. Yeah. All right, I guess.
And I think that's the main problem of the movie, Matt, is that there's so much that you have to understand as the viewer to be able to follow the plot that you lose the emotional stakes because you're constantly trying to figure out what it really means that he's saying rather than how he's saying it or the impact it has on everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
For the whole movie, it does that. Until it finally pauses and allows Cillian Murphy to have that cathartic moment.
Maybe that's why it's so good, too, is you've been, like, begging for it the whole movie. And then they finally just show him, like, holding a pinwheel. And you're like, good, yes. There's no character, like, standing behind him being like, now he will break up his father's company. Exactly as we planned,
I mean, except they do give us that scene, like, 2 minutes later.
Right. I mean, my bad. If you guys don't, I'm going to jump in it. It's too long. It's 2.5 hours. Like, holy shit. Like, I like slow motion, but I don't like slow motion that much. The scene where Leo goes into the bathtub, the very first slow motion scene, I was just like, they could have cut 30 minutes off. Just easy. If they just did less.
That bathtub scene?
Just that bathtub scene. Just less slow motion. This movie needs to be so much quicker. Like the ending drags on. Like it's him walking through an airport and being like, wow, I get to come home now. And then the guy says, welcome to America. And you're just like, there's just so many scenes.
That's supposed to be an emotional thing though. Like, Matt, you're so wrong on this that I can't even form a
you want more?
A sentence.
It should be shorter, but you're wrong about where it should be shorter.
Well, I don't know if it should be shorter. You're talking about cutting the slow motion, which is if we're talking about time being like dilated in different levels,
I'm not saying
have to have some way of showing that.
I'm just saying like those scenes are like 30 seconds of just like him falling into a bathtub and then coming back out. And it's just like, make it 15, just cut it in half. They're so long.
Matt, I can't lie. Under my good that I didn't even get to, I said, I like the slow motion shot of Leo being dunked in the water.
Me too. It was on my list.
Oh my God, me too.
I was like, oh, the water looks so cool when it comes up.
You're all wrong. Go back, okay, and look at Leo coming back out of the water, where he's like,
that's what I just said.
No. The going in the water is fine.
No.
Coming out, no.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
I'll agree to disagree.
Okay.
No.
I don't know how much you can cut from this movie and still allow it to be as coherent as it is. And it's still considered one of the most confusing movies ever made.
Yeah, and I think to Ben's point, the whole core idea with time being part of it, like it's just part of the movie. The fact that it is that long.
Fucking thing needs an intermission. It's so long.
It's called a pause button.
You had ads with Tubi, Matt.
Yeah,
I
you
think that's
said-
why you felt long. I don't know. I don't think Matt actually. We can count Matt's opinion.
Okay, fine.
Let's get into the weird.
I had a shit ton of questions the whole time that I couldn't stop thinking about. I know I said that, and there are two more I want to talk about. First one. So they all wake up. They're on the plane. I just have to know, because this is just bugging me. They have one of the flight attendants monitoring like the sedatives and everything. They just pack that shit up before Cillian Murphy turns around to be like, oh, I'm awake, and seeing what's happening. Like, that's just a thing that they do. I don't know. Just seems really far-fetched to me, and it was bugging the shit out of me.
Okay.
I
think that's fair.
So far down the totem pole of what's wrong with this movie.
Don't care.
It's
It's
weird.
not what's wrong. It was weird. It was sticking out in my head. But really, the weirdest part of this movie for me was thinking, is this movie just an audition for the cast of Dark Knight Rises?
Yeah.
Because like every single character, I'm going, you're in it. You're in it too. Oh, you are.
How shitty must Leo be to work with that Christopher Nolan doesn't want him back?
Yeah, I was gonna say who else didn't make it? Elliot Page.
Yep.
Yikes.
That's the two.
That's the two.
Emily, you're absolutely right. Waking up together, like they're all waking up from like a roofie party, is the weirdest part of the movie. I agree with that 100%. Like they're all just coming to at the same time.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
But that's part of
that's
the whole
like
process.
anesthesia. That's how it works.
But everybody together at the same time. Could you imagine just looking around on an airplane and like everybody looked like they were getting up at the same time? Like,
well, Ken and Leo were still asleep, but whatever. It's still
and you
weird.
do remember the whole thing about that these drugs are specifically manufactured and engineered to have a certain amount of effectiveness and delay and duration.
No inner ear function problems.
You're okay with that, but not the rest.
What if their ears weren't popping? So like they weren't properly being spun around.
That sounds like their problem.
My one question that I found weird happened within the first 2 seconds of the movie, and it's when Leo washes up on the beach, because the first thing I thought was, why you all wet, baby?
Oh, okay.
Which is Shutter Island for the two that don't come on our podcast often enough.
I thought you were just saying that to him.
No, that is 100% from the movie. It is not a pleasant line. When it comes out of Ben's mouth, it's not pleasant.
Yeah, it's almost like coming in for supper or something. It's like it's got the wrong sort of feeling behind it. Why you all wet, baby?
Oh,
See,
God,
did that
it's
sound
worse
any
with
better
Matt.
coming out of his mouth? Yeah.
No.
Say it.
Wesley, your turn.
Oh, I'm ready.
Oh, God.
Why y'all wet, baby?
Oh, because of
way
that.
better.
God
that
damn.
was way better.
I need a towel. Ellie.
I need an adult.
Daddy needs a towel.
I hope is she there?
Yeah, I hope that's a soundproof room.
It is. Okay, let's put our final thoughts together on Inception and put a cork in this thing, and we're going to start with Matt.
Great heist movie. It's a lot of fun.
Thank you, baby.
Despite
towels. I guess my room is not as soundproof as I thought it was.
Hey, that's a better way to find out than some other way.
So this movie is great because it's a dream heist, not a money heist. It's a dream heist, and it's top billing. You know, you get all the stars are out. You know, and it's just a lot of fun, start to finish, especially if you like action. So definitely great movie, despite my complaining about how long it is and other aspects of it. Really like it.
Wesley.
I mean, I think my ramblings have kind of spoken for themselves. It's a great movie. I enjoyed, more than confusing you guys with my ramblings, was the ramblings that didn't come out of my mouth, because they kept it going. But, you know, like Matt said, they rolled out the red carpet. So, I mean, Robert Pattinson was amazing. John David Washington, just a stellar leading performance. Who can forget Wes Chatham, right, Matt? You know Wes Chatham from that
Big
show.
Expanse.
Yeah, his name's Wes. That's my name.
Wow, 30 seconds.
And that's pretty cool.
Jesus Christ.
And that's pretty cool.
Emily.
Those were all actors from Tenet.
Yeah, we got it. Thank you.
I didn't. Thank you for saying it. This movie has a lot of rewatch potential, and I am kind of excited to go back and see it at least one more time within this year, just to kind of go back and answer some of my stupid questions that I had. Although I still don't think I'm going to get it. I'm going to like a lot of parts of it, especially like the physical aspects and visual effects. But I don't know. I just don't think I get it. I don't think it's really for me. Definitely was designed to be like a bro movie.
Whoa, how do you not bring up that talking point earlier? We could Okay, whatever. I think the greatest act of Inception is Christopher Nolan convincing me I understand what's happening in this movie. It's hard to follow in parts, even for someone who's seen it as often as I do. I was still constantly questioning what I was seeing because it felt like it lacked internal logic when really it's probably pretty darn tight. I enjoy this movie. I'll continue to watch it every couple years, mainly for the score, baby.
You could just listen to the score.
Yeah, but it's not as impactful when I can't see Leo walking through an airport.
What's your favorite idea? Mine is being creative.
How do you get that idea?
I just try to think creatively.
Number 1.
Yeah.
What's your totem?
Okay, I thought about mine because I thought this would come up.
Oh, wow.
And it's kind of gross, but I think it's meant to be something personal that only you would know if something was wrong, right?
Your kidney. Sorry.
That's not even mine.
No, I meant the
It's
one
the worst totem.
that was take
No, I
it
still
out.
have them. I have
they
3
don't
kidneys.
take them out. Okay,
No,
never
they just stuff them full.
Anyway.
Bad joke. Cut it.
No, I liked it.
Yeah, we're keeping that.
Emily makes fun of people who've been in the hospital. Got it.
I thought they were adult knees.
Yeah, I was trying. Yeah. Anyway, so I have this weird thing. Like when you cut off your fingernails, if you kind of put the fingernail like back on the finger where it was, it feels interesting, but it's kind of like a fingerprint because it fits that exact shape.
You done told on yourself. You fucking told on yourself. You fucking weirdo. What did you say?
That is by far the weirdest thing I've ever admitted out loud.
Oh my God.
Probably to anyone.
Wow.
So, very special episode. So what about you guys?
So wait a second. You would know it was your fingernail because it
a
fit?
fingernail.
It's a fingernail.
How would you like?
I
We're
can't
not gonna
tell you,
question
Matt, because
We're
the
not
point of
questioning
it is that only I know.
Yeah, but your fingernails grow. Eventually, it's not going to be a perfect fit.
No, you don't get it.
I guess I don't.
It doesn't.
In a
It's
dream,
Wes's
it'll
totem.
fit, but when it's not his dream, it won't because his fingernails.
It's not
grow.
about attaching to where the fingernail was. It's under.
It's the feel. I
It's
get
the feel.
it. That's a good totem. That's a great
No,
totem.
it's not.
Ben would
Moving
not
on.
be able to. Okay.
Thank you, Matt.
Just like Cobb, mine is my wedding ring. It's only ever on in the dream and not in reality.
Well, that's what Cobb is.
Yep.
So why'd you say unlike?
I said only like.
I like that joke. That's fine.
I don't get it.
Did I say ring? I meant cock ring.
You definitely said wedding ring.
Oh, did I? Well, my wedding cock ring.
Same thing. Same
Yeah,
thing.
the one I wore on my
Oh my
wedding
God.
day, right, Matt? You were my best man. You helped me put it on.
Right. I walked down the aisle on all fours, and
Yep.
there was a pillow on my back with the ring.
That is not how I remember it.
I don't think I want to be on this podcast anymore.
My totem's not going to be that gross.
That's good.
It'll be kind of gross, but in a fun way.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay, so my totem is going to be a condom in my wallet, right? So I have to go have sex, and then in real life, it's like a real condom, but in the dream, there's a hole in it. So I take the condom and I tie it off and I fill it with water, and then like it has like just a bunch of holes in it in the dream.
But okay.
Oh my god.
So if you're testing in the real world,
right?
If it works, it's a one-time totem. Because once you unravel it and fill it like a water balloon and find out it's real.
Well, I trust the great manufacturers of
that's not the point.
So then you're saying that only in your dream you will ever encounter a condom with a hole on it.
I thought of a pretty good totem in a few moments. Like, this doesn't have to be ironclad, does it? Like,
oh my god, we're moving on to number 2.
That was a fucking disaster.
Yeah, seriously. What idea are you incepting into your co-host's brains?
Oh, I got this.
I do too. You go ahead, Matt.
All of Wesley's projections are all horny. That's what I'm incepting into his brain.
Wait, are you already here?
See what I mean? He can't trace the idea back to me. So that good.
Yeah, you implanted that 10 years ago.
I would incept into Matt some self-confidence. I think it would be really good for him to hear some positive self-speak and believe in himself a little more. I think he's a great guy, and it would be really nice if he saw himself the way his friends do.
Wow.
You just Dylan'd it.
I would incept my dick into Matt.
Okay. He's already got a picture of it. He's been dreaming about it already.
Yeah, I planted that seed.
Oh god. Lastly, number 3. What would your limbo look like?
My limbo would be an island that looks like Fiji.
That I have to live on for 39 days.
And would have a lot of Survivor sort of lore and signs and a lot of like mystery sort of like mixed with Lost, like smoke monsters and tigers. And Jeff Probst would definitely be in the dream, but like how he sees his children, he only sees the back of their heads, and then you follow him down a path, and then he's gone. So that's my limbo, I think.
And what color buff?
Black. It's Winners at War for sure.
So isn't it supposed to just be creationless vastness?
Yeah, but you create
so
your
what
own.
would you create?
I mean, if I've got unlimited time, my limbo's going to be a movie theater where I can just watch my own movies of my own creation up on the big screen over and over again. So I'm literally watching my dreams inside my dreams. Inception.
Does it have a limited number of screens? I imagine
it's one screen. I'm one person, and I'm the only one there, so I don't need.
How does that translate time-wise? Do you get to watch them in your time or their time?
Well, I'm in limbo, so it's my time.
How many like 50 years or something?
Yeah, I've got 50
But are you
years.
going to watch 50 years of that truck rolling over?
No, it's my dreams.
Yeah, so it's in their time.
No.
How many seats in this movie theater?
Just one. You're not invited.
It's actually just a TV.
It's one recliner.
Oh, it's recliner. Okay.
Well, yeah, I got to be comfortable.
Right.
Yeah, mine looks like the Matrix.
Like the white loading room?
No, where the cool leather chairs on the craggy mountain in Lightning Storm over the fields of bodies.
Oh.
Seems like something to do.
I don't like that limbo. That sounds not fun.
Now let's all agree to never be creative again.
Thanks everyone for listening. Next week, we're going to be watching the Disney animated classic fairy tale, Tangled.
Yeah, should be a fun one. Thank you again for everyone who listened. Please like, rate, subscribe, share us with a friend or two. Follow us on social media at IDYP_podcast on Instagram. And for now, Twitter. We'll see how it goes in the next week. And share us with a friend or two. We appreciate everybody. Matt, before we go, in your best monotone Joseph Gordon-Levitt impression, end the episode by saying, I drink your podcast, I drink it up.
I drink your podcast, I drink it up.
That had too much character. Can you go more monotone?
I drink your podcast, I drink it up.
Still too much inflection.
I drink your podcast, I drink it up.
Now that's just robotic. That's not monotone.
Yeah, that was so robotic that it was personal.
I drink your podcast, I drink it up.
Was that the count?
I drink your podcast. Now kiss me.
Nope, that was definitely Darth Sidious.
The projections are noticing us. We must go. Kiss me.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Okay, bye.